Late at night, the doctors and the TV crew give them a fright. The movies are cheesy and so's the host. Look out, honey, here's 13 ghosts. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Bill the Monster, Eater. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, ghoulies, come on!
There you are, ghoulies, and we are back. All right, Lilith is back, and of course, the legendary Orson Welles has returned to Crimson Theater. I didn't think you were coming back.
You think I want to be back here?
Well, all right, I won't go into that. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what? I'm desperate for the money. I need the money. That's the only reason I'm here.
Well, at least you're honest about it. All right.
My agent wanted me to be here, so.
All right. I can understand that being a genius filmmaker at such a young age and being basically shunned by Hollywood. That's really a shame. I think that's an incredible atrocity.
Well, that's something for you to say. Thank you very much for that. Number one, I'm glad we have another guest on the show today, so you don't have to keep on just criticizing me and my life and my career.
I wasn't criticizing you. I think you're amazing. I'm a huge fan.
Are you?
I am.
Well,
indeed.
Good. What's one of your favorite things I've done?
What's the favorite thing you did?
One of your favorite things.
Touch of Evil.
No.
You know, you knew how to play you really played a part there. Yeah. Very unique. Can't think of anyone else who could have done that role.
And you too love my friend Joseph Cotton, right?
Joseph Cotton rules.
Yes.
Joseph Cotton's done a lot of things.
Very good man. Very good
yes,
friend.
very good.
Very
good. I loved it. Lilith, do you have any very favorite Orson Welles films yourself?
Well, of course, Lady of Shanghai.
Rita Hayworth.
Gotta love Rita.
Oh, she's hot in that movie, isn't she?
Oh, she's amazing.
Wow, smoking. Now this, as you spoke before, you guys you two were splitting up at that time.
We, again, don't like talking about my movies a whole lot, but just for you, since I'm back this time, again, Rita and I were going through some troubles, some difficulties, all right? And yes, we were going through a possible arrangement of divorce, and I did not know who the female character was going to be, a female actress on the movie, and Lady from Shanghai, and the director wanted Rita Hayworth, my soon-to-be ex-wife.
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, but like I said before, if they needed to pick the perfect woman to play the role of the evil villainess, then my soon-to-be ex-wife would be the perfect choice.
Interesting, very stylistic. I like the whole funhouse sequence. That was very interesting and innovative.
It was very fun.
You certainly know how to keep a picture interesting. And do you think you by modern
something
films,
happened to her, so that was a good movie.
Yeah, well, yes, I imagine having a movie with you leaving your wife dying in a pool of blood is quite a final chapter in that sort of thing of a marriage.
Yeah, I guess you could say it was my last hurrah.
It was your last hurrah?
It was my last hurrah, my big hurrah. I had the final laugh, so to speak, and yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, well, it's hard to keep those hot women in control. I mean, it's just. You've constantly got people trying. You got a pretty wife. They're knocking at the door all the time. They have no regard for marriage or the institution of marriage.
That's true, but Judy Garland, that was a kid right there. She was great.
She was great, huh? Mm-hmm. Did you ever work with her?
Well, we had our thing back then.
Okay.
We got together for a little bit.
Interesting.
So, yes,
I never knew that.
Yes. She and I were together for a little bit, and she's a great kid.
Great kid.
Yes.
I understand that with all the great chemistry in The Wizard of Oz and all that, some of those cast members did not treat her very well in the filming of that.
I heard that too.
You heard that too, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a hard deal there because there's a bunch of stuff going on outside of the film too that worked in there. I'm not going to go over the details, but she had a tough time during that break.
I think she had a lot of pressure on her at a young age. You know,
and she got into some, you know, stuff that wasn't good for her either. For
booze.
Her booze.
Booze is the worst.
Medication.
No, okay, I didn't know about
Yes,
that, but
yes.
booze certainly leaves its mark.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she was going through a tough time then.
Ah, very good. Now, do you think that Lilith would look good in one of your pictures?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with that shade of hair, that
Thank
special
you.
tint is.
Yes, it is a
good.
rather.
I don't know how it would work with black and white.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I'm curious myself to see how that would turn out.
I'm curious.
But you know,
Let's do it sometime.
with films, you can change hair as easy. You know, they've got wigs.
Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely, yes.
yeah, they'll break out a blonde wig for you. Or did she, Rita? Did she actually dye her hair, or was it a wig?
Yeah, she, you know, we designed her hair that way. It wasn't, you know, her natural hair as it is in most movies. It was specially made up, but she was, you know, a beautiful woman where, you know, it didn't matter what she had on, even though we were going through some tough times. I mean, I'll be one to admit too that, you know, she looked good in anything. So.
Well, she did. At first glance, I wasn't sure if I really was getting it, you know, because whenever they go overboard about some woman's looks, they are beautiful. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't reach me personally, you know. That's always an interesting point. But I never knew Rita. I just want you to know that.
Okay, well.
Up front,
okay,
just
well.
so you know.
Thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, what'd you think of my my Irish accent?
It was interesting. It was
Yeah.
interesting. You know, it's hard to do acting job and do an accent. That's very hard.
Yes, it
But
was.
you did it good.
It was extremely difficult, but I must admit that was not, you know, my greatest feat with the accent. But I wanted to do something different at that time, and
Well,
so
you certainly did. The whole film is just it's one of those things you don't know what's going to happen. And with so many modern films, you figure out the end of the movie before you get to it, and you're like, okay, I've seen a lot of films, so that happens, you know. So yeah, definitely a fantastic.
Well, it's also why you won't hear me do the Irish accent ever again.
Okay, so that's that being said.
Yes.
But I also heard though it didn't go over too big with audiences and critics. Not that matters in my book.
Yeah, it of course doesn't matter in my book either. I want to do what I want to do. I want to do what's interesting. I want to do what's fascinating to me and the psyche in humans in general. You know, I don't care if it's going to be a big success. I wish it was a bigger success than what it was, but yeah, it didn't. You know, it turned out not to be that big in theaters and stuff like that. So it just, which is too bad. But I heard it's making its comeback now. So
Well, yes. Well, it catches up to the audience. I think the film was probably too sophisticated for the audiences at that time.
Many of my movies try to be, you know, they tend to be ahead of the time a little bit, and just the characters, the storyline, the voyeurism. It's all a little bit too much for people to take at first. So.
Well, obviously, Lilith, did you like it the first time you saw it?
Loved it, but I love anything with Rita, so.
Sorry,
who
bro.
doesn't? I
Yeah.
know.
No, don't go stomping off on us now.
Yeah, I won't get sore.
We you know, we're working for peas here ourselves on Crimson
Hey.
Theater. Oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to let you know we're all.
Don't get me started on that again.
We're all in the same boat, and ours certainly has holes. Anyway, Ghoulies, we've got another fantastic Gamera film tonight. Gamera versus Zyger. And of course, once again, Gamera takes a beating. This creature is just relentless. Just really, you know, Gamera's another guy. He's got a big shell and an even bigger heart.
You're really
but
big into
he
this
takes
thing,
a
aren't
beating.
you? Yeah.
What's Gamera?
Yeah,
Kaiju?
yeah.
It's immensely popular. Perhaps you should direct a Kaiju giant monster movie film. You might bring a whole aspect unseen, unprecedented.
I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon.
Well, definitely, these are much better than the recent American Godzilla movie. Did you see that one?
Terrible. it was terrible too. I don't know which is worse, but that is not my style, not my kind of thing.
Okay, I thought you might have connected to the rather, abstract cubist design of the creatures in tonight's film.
Well, like I said last time, it was very interesting, and as you pointed out, it had what's that one, the character you were talking about with the hard shell and everything?
Gamera, yes, Gamera.
Yes. Then, you said it was like me in a way. That's what you said last time.
Okay.
Hard shell.
Well, I didn't mean to any offense,
yes,
but
yes.
Gamera comes from an old Japanese legend that the island of Japan rests upon the back of a turtle, a giant turtle.
I've heard that before.
All right. See,
I have heard that. Yes.
You may be a Gamera fan by the end of tonight, but anyway, get right into it. Gamera versus Zygra on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, previously titled Godzilla Gamera versus Monster X. Went to the Godzilla reference. Sorry. Prizes as Lilith has joined us tonight. What brought you by the castle?
Well, I just stopped by to say hi.
Well, that's the door's always open for girls with blue hair that want to say hi. Any interesting stories behind the blue hair?
Well, it's blue because I like the ocean.
They're very cool, very cool. The ocean. That sounds like you might be the kind of girl that likes H.P. Lovecraft.
Indeed. Huge.
Really? Huge fan?
Very huge
How
fan.
long have you been a fan of H.P. Lovecraft?
Grew up reading the stories with my father, so huge fan.
Oh, your father read H.P. Lovecraft?
Yes, he did.
And what is your take on that? I mean, H.P. Lovecraft had people scouring the libraries and old bookstores looking for an actual copy of the Necronomicon.
Oh, it's amazing. I really wish that there was a real copy, and you can find copies out there, but nothing that's real.
Well, maybe the complete collections of Lovecraft are the Necronomicon themselves.
Maybe they are.
They could be encoded in there,
I'd believe that.
Because not unlike you, a young H.P. Lovecraft used to circle around his grandfather's having discussions. Maybe you've heard this and heard some of these stories, and they were alleged to be in secret societies, to say the least. You've heard that story?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, very interesting fellow, H.P. Lovecraft. I wish they would do... they did a library sequence of Edgar Allan Poe a year ago.
Yes, they did.
And it would really be cool if they did H.P. Lovecraft.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, a citywide celebration of Lovecraft. I don't know if he's ever actually been to Kenosha, though.
No, I don't believe he has, but it would be wonderful to see.
Definitely an interesting mix. They compare him a lot to Edgar Allan Poe, but they're really nothing alike.
Nothing at all. They're entirely different leagues, but it's amazing to see the comparisons constantly when they are so different.
I think H.P. Lovecraft was a bit of a fan, but he certainly took the horror story and may have kind of really invented a different kind of science fiction.
Very much.
And I think he was probably really, I don't know, maybe it was before his time, a little bit of Darwin in there.
Yes, and he experimented with even interdimensional travel, which was quite interesting for his time. Right,
indeed. Very, might have been a little more advanced telescopic images available at that time, but now the stuff that we see from the Hubble telescope, boy, Lovecraft would have had a field day with that. I mean, it looks like it's straight out of his imagination.
It does. It really does.
Well, any favorite Lovecraft stories?
Well, of course you have Call of Cthulhu. Which
Call of Cthulhu is probably
loves.
The one that did it.
Oh, definitely. It's the one everybody recommends, everybody says they love, everybody looks to. It's deep.
Not a huge studio movie ever was made around it.
No, and that's actually very interesting that none never came forward.
Well, it could be two reasons, but with all the CGI that there is and everything now, that could be incredibly done. On the other hand, that Lovecraft might be a little bit too deep of a subject for most moviegoers.
I believe that. I believe that most common moviegoers just wouldn't understand or care to watch.
Very good. Very interesting indeed. But, there was, I do recommend a Call of Cthulhu done by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, who did the movie as a silent film and really did a good job. It looks like if Lovecraft would have been successful enough to get a film made in his time he lived, Have you seen that one?
I have.
You have seen it?
Yes.
What did you think of that
Absolutely loved it. Absolutely. I
Now,
thought
did
it
you see
justice.
just the film, or did you see any of the making of and everything?
I saw just the film so
Okay,
far.
there's a really good making of that film with the disc. And these guys made these sets basically like in backyards, and the way they had, I mean, all right, we're talking about guys that got to make a movie out of cardboard, okay? Which I've had a little experience. But in any case, they come up with that whole idea of the ship, and the way they pull that off it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got this little budget, and you've got a ship on the ocean doing battle with a giant creature.
It is amazing what they were able to do on such a small budget, but it does. It looks like H.P. Lovecraft got a movie deal.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And there's another one, Whispers in the Dark.
Yes.
Now, it's a newer one. And now the latest, I met some people involved with that. One of the guys told me he was in the movie, but I don't remember, I don't remember watching it again and noticing him. But they're doing some kind of rock opera thing or something.
That'd be interesting.
But
to
they
see.
got Bruce Kulick, one of the former Kiss guitar players, involved in that. And he was not approachable,
Yeah.
You go to you don't know what people are going through, or these actors that show up at the Days of the Dead convention, I mean, what's going on in their personal life. And they have to come out and sit there and autograph and everything. But he just was, we'll just say, not that approachable. You know who the least approachable? My thumbs down, I have to give her.
Oh, really?
Elvira.
Really?
No, not very cool.
That's too bad to hear.
Well, she kind of, everyone thinks of her about it as horror hosting or lumps her in with like Morticia Addams and Vampira.
Yeah.
And she was starting off as the Vampira show, but then they ended up making a different name. And she really didn't do the hosting thing all that long. She was just more like advertisement for Coors and whatnot. But, nothing could take away from, what an amazing impression she did on the public.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. But tonight's movie, unfortunately, it's not a H.P. Lovecraft film, even though it echoes a little bit of that, because it is about a sea monster named Gamera. He's a lot like Canossians, He's got a tough shell, but he's got a big heart. And he comes to save the children. And we've been doing quite a few Gamera films, and actually in Japanese subtitles. And a lot of these films, I know you've seen out there, some of my ghoulies growing up, but you've never seen them as high quality, the picture, that they really deserve to be. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Gamera versus Virus on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater. I know he's back there. Mr. Orson Welles is here tonight, and well, what do you think? Gamera's really taking a beating, isn't he?
He is. I could definitely relate in my own life
No,
to that kind of beating, yes.
Yes, that we've all been through that. But do you think it was just vicious revenge? Because, you probably really made a whole bunch of filmmakers feel not very adequate in their job. And jealousy and rivalry, can bring down a ship.
Oh, don't I know it. I mean, rivalry against your best friends is not a good thing.